Hey there, folks. Welcome back to the Overflow. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, live once again from the Hatmobile.
Yes, and this is take two, sort of. I actually caught the technical issue early this time. So just to recap what I was bitching about is I've been having car trouble. It is so damn cold in Illinois, I cannot do car maintenance. I don't have a garage. So basically what's going on is like my car, the interior lights still work. The battery is still good, but when I try to turn the key over, it will not start. But it's more so the connection to the battery, because it's not even letting the starter hits and the whatchamacallit, the spark plugs start to go, but it just stops and then starts the process over again. It's basically there's no loop in the connection. Like the energy starts to go into the engine, but there's no closed loop that's going through the battery. So it just won't complete. So I've got to, and when I opened the hood, I saw that the connection for the battery cable to the battery itself was corroded to hell. And I cleaned it properly today as best I could. My battery, you have to screw the connector on, which I'm gonna change that shit because that's stupid. I cannot get the bolt to loosen at all because it's frozen on there. So I'm kind of fucked until it warms up. It's not gonna warm up until mid to late February. So yeah. All right, Hatman, you are birthday boy. For those who don't know, you should have given a happy birthday to the Hatman. But if you didn't already, do so in the comments below. But Hatman, politics or entertainment, where are we starting?
Let's start with politics, because we only got a few of those, so let's go ahead and knock it out.
All right, so the first one is from Talon Silverbane. He wants to know, who is Kafka? And he's probably wondering that in reference to us talking about Kafka trapping on the most recent podcast. Hatman, you would go ahead and answer the first part, and I'll talk about the story.
So Kafka, author Franz Kafka, in Kafka trapping, like his claim to fame there, refers to a short story he wrote called The Trial, in which a man is put on trial but never given an idea of what he's being charged for. Kafka trapping basically has to do with the idea that any sort of denial of guilt is an admittance of guilt.
Yes.
The only winning move is not to play in that regard.
Yeah, that's a really good way to summarize it. Because if you and it was in reference to the baby Hitler statement and why we thought it was a mistake for Ben Shapiro to even bring it up. Because there is no right answer to that question. Would you go back and kill baby Hitler? If you answer yes, and you're a pro-life person like I am, then the first reaction is, oh, so you would kill a baby. And if you say no, you wouldn't stop Hitler? You're a fascist. There's no right answer. So you have to point out that it's a Kafka trap. You have to point out that it's a dirty trick that they're doing. Because you do not win if you answer the fucking question. Like Hatman said, the only right move is not to play.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Kafka is. That's what Kafka trapping is. And you should never answer those questions, ever. It's it's idiotic.
It is a trap for a reason.
Yes. Insert Admiral Akbar here. All right. Audis Whisperer wants to know, is social science actually science? I say yes.
To a degree, yes. I mean, they deal with statistical averages and whatnot.
Yeah. If your definition of science is you use the scientific method to come to a conclusion using evidence, then yes, it is a science. If you think of science as Beakers and Neil deGrasse Tyson, which is the science, as I like to call it, then no, it's not. But I don't care about the science, because the science has a big problem right now with agenda, and it's not being used factually very often.
No.
And that's a problem. But that's the thing. It's like how you'll say, like, or how you'll see people say atheists love the science because it supposedly proves that God isn't real, you know. But that's not really the case. You know, Francis Collins makes a very good argument against a lot of the things that Dawkins puts forward. So does Ravi Zacharias and John Lennox. And some people would say that John Lennox is not a scientist. Well, no, he's a mathematician. He is a scientist. He's not the same kind of scientist that you would think of. But I think that the problem is, and I blame Bill Nye for this, and before him, Mr. Wizard and other stuff, is we think of the TV scientist, the guy with the lab coat. Mm-hmm. You know, who's doing experimentation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, there's other types of experimentation. So I consider social science a science. I just think right now the sciences are corrupt because too many people are worried about an agenda, not enough are worried about actual research and truth, which is a problem. We see it in psychology, we see it in the social sciences, we see it in a lot of other, you know, different fields, and it's driving people batty because you have actual scientists in these fields like a Jordan Peterson or a Brett Weinstein, who are actually very educated men that are you know, not really or aren't putting up with this political bullshit. They just want their field. So okay, next question.
Oh,
go ahead.
The crazies from the asylum.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, Chris Jones wants to know thoughts on the story that Pelosi was planning a secret meeting and was trying to undermine the authority of the president. I'd never even heard that.
I've not heard that either, but honestly, I kind of wouldn't be surprised given the news today that she isn't going to even formally invite him to a joint session of Congress to deliver the State of the Union.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about that this weekend, by the way.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, no, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. I was just talking to my mom earlier today, and she was like, you know what? Trump is not the president to the Democrats. They don't recognize his authority, so they feel like they just got a blank check to do whatever the hell they want.
Pretty much.
And that's an excellent fucking point. They do not give a shit anymore.
No. Resist is their whole thing.
Yeah.
It's all they have.
Yeah.
All right. Eclectic 1995 asks us our final politics question. Says, I often hear of how ineffective and in disrepair the infrastructure is in some parts of the U.S. So if it's that bad, how did it get that bad in the first place? Well, the problem is that as time has gone on, we have continued to tack on more departments and more things to try to cover something, and then it just creates a bunch of waste.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're at. Like the EPA. One of the funniest tweets I saw was Bernie Sanders complaining about 90% of the employees of the EPA being furloughed. I'm like, well, if you have 90% non-essential personnel, let's cut the branch. Let's get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is generally the problem, and it's oftentimes the executive branch that has this issue, because they have been able to unilaterally just tack on new departments when we really don't need that many of them. Because environmental stuff could be handled by the states. The EPA is largely worthless. You know, you could cut like a lot of the people that are furloughed right now. You could get rid of them and we wouldn't miss a darn thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they would go and they would get jobs in the private sector doing something useful and probably making more money.
Mm-hmm.
So,
or put them in state jobs, for God's sake.
Yeah, like it doesn't make a lick of sense to me. But that's generally the problem, is we've expanded our government to the point where it's just this big, giant, bloated mass. And this is the one thing that the private sector has that the government does not, because it has to compete. It can't have waste. Mm-hmm. You have to be efficient. Well, the government doesn't compete with anything. it's there, it exists, and we have to have the principles and the feeling of need to cut things. And luckily, Donald Trump has been doing a lot of that. My thought is that in the next 2 years, if the Democrats continue to do the shutdown, I would just cut the shit you don't need. Be like, look, the Senate Republicans are gonna pass a bill to fund essential government for the next, I don't know, couple of months. In the meantime, we're getting rid of the TSA. We're getting rid of the EPA. He just gets rid of a bunch of facilities just out of fucking nowhere. Just closes them all down. All the ones that we don't need. It would be revolutionary. And I would love it. I would laugh. If I hadn't smoked my last cigar, I would smoke it while the government fucking burns. As Trump lights the fire and just goes, yeah, it's a great fire. It's the best fire ever.
Jeez. I need to send more to you, I guess.
Alright. But that's it we had for politics. God, my grammar sucks today. Okay, entertainment. Gosh. Autist Whisperer wants to know, thoughts on Goblin Slayer being nominated for awards on Crunchyroll?
Lol, what?
That's interesting. Was it really?
Is it actually gonna fucking win anything, though? Because everyone knows they gave the fuck out of their awards.
Well, I imagine some slice of life bullshit will probably... No, it's banned from the awards. Or actually, wait, no. That's Yellow Flash saying it. So, no offense, buddy. Sorry, I don't mean to offend you, dude. Because I know that he's a subscriber to the channel. But, like, I'm going to need a bit more... Or I'm going to need evidence that it's banned. Snubbed, though, is what I'm seeing.
I'm not surprised. See, that's why I'm surprised that it got nominated. What? That's something. But no.
Yeah, it's definitely snubbed. Then, like it's a fan vote, and they didn't even put it on there.
Yeah, I'm not fucking surprised. Like I said, Crunchyroll games their fucking awards. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that it's banned. It seems to me like they probably are a little bit, not happy that they even have it.
Yeah, just like I think Darling in the Franxx got nominated for like a couple, and that was like voice roles and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that apparently was like really fucking popular last year.
Well,
but then you got
titties,
some people,
yeah.
But then you've got some people say, it's male gazy and whatever. Like, fucking
so
no goddamn
the soy
wonder.
People say that.
Yeah, basically.
Well, and that's the problem.
No goddamn wonder.
Soy runs Crunchyroll.
Mm-hmm.
They will put Goblin Slayer on there because it's a product that will sell. But you will never see it nominated for any awards. Ever.
No.
It's too violent, too mature for them. And they will never it's had hit pieces written about it.
It's too masculine for them.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily that. It's that
it's not, but that's what they associate masculinity with, violence.
Yeah, that's true. But it's more so, I think, because hit pieces were written about it from the usual suspects, about it being too violent, the fact that there was rape in it, blah 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 blah. And I think that is ridiculous because it's a
general nonsense.
Yeah, it's a fun as fuck series. It's not deep. It's not Berserk. If you're looking for Berserk, it's not there. And before anybody asks, who would win in a fight, Goblin Slayer or Guts? Guts. He has killed a god. He doesn't need God. If Guts was in the Goblin Slayer world, everything would be dead.
Jesus Christ. Imagine Guts and the Doom Slayer teaming up.
What would Guts need the Doom Slayer for? I'm gonna get shit for that, but I'm dead serious. What does he need the Doom Slayer for? The stuff that Doom Slayer needs power-ups to do, he has done with just his armor and his sword. He has
range, I guess.
Yeah, like the only thing that apparently the Doom Slayer somehow killed Satan, or something or some archdemon that's gigantic. But again, Guts killed the sea god. Like I have no reason to think he couldn't handle Doom with just that fucking sword.
All right, modders, get to it.
Dude, a fucking third-person Berserk Doom mod would be fucking crazy. That would be glorious.
Oh, God.
All right, next question. Koopa's Revenge Home asks, what if MK11 pulls a Soul Calibur 2 and each version has an exclusive character to each platform? Who would it be for each? Well, it's coming out for several different platforms. Let me find them all. Hold on.
While you do that, they tried that for Mortal Kombat 9. Because remember, Kratos was exclusive to the PS3 version.
Yes.
But Microsoft refused to let any of their...
No, they refused to let Master Chief. That's who they asked for.
They asked for Marcus Phoenix first.
No, they didn't. Not according to Cliff Bleszinski. What happened is that they asked for the Chief, because Chief is the most popular Xbox character. They said no, they will not allow that to happen. They wouldn't sign off on it. Cliff Bleszinski called Ed Boon and volunteered Marcus Phoenix or Cole, and it was too late in development to put him in.
Really?
Yes, that's what Bleszinski said.
Way around.
No, that's what Bleszinski said. So that's straight from the horse's mouth.
There you go. Yeah, can't doubt that one.
So
that would have been fucking cool to have Marcus Phoenix.
That would have been appropriate, I think. So let me pull up. I'm trying to find the Wikipedia page for
Dope
it.
as shit.
Oh, here it is. So it is going to be on Windows, Switch, PS4, Xbox One. So yeah, with the Xbox, like I would definitely volunteer a character from Gears. Marcus, Dom, Cole, Rom would be a really good one, I would think. He's already in Killer Instinct though.
Oh yes, right, he is. Fuck.
So he would still be a good pick. Yeah, especially he'd still be a good pick. But I would, for the trash talking things, because that's what they do before every fight now. I would prefer someone like Cole or Marcus.
Yeah.
Cole especially. Cole would be hilarious. Just because Lester Spade is awesome as Cole.
God, just imagine the
or
trash
Baird
between fucking. Imagine the trash talk between Coltrane and fucking Johnny Cage.
Oh my God, that'd be glorious. So, but that's definitely that. With PlayStation 4, you gotta bring Kratos back. From God of War 4, from the new God of War.
Yeah. I mean, who else are you gonna put in there? You can't put Ellie in there because violence against women.
That'd be hilarious. Joel would be an interesting one.
Joel would be too, but honestly, I would only see him as like a Striker clone.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, definitely have Kratos back, and you can have like weapon switching and stuff like that. It'd be really, really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it has to be dad. It has to be dad of boy Kratos. Yeah. Nintendo.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I don't think Nintendo would allow a single one of their characters in there at all.
Put fucking Doc Lewis from Punch-Out in there.
That'd be hilarious. But
that'd be the dumbest fucking thing.
Yeah, but no, there's not a single one that they would allow. I would think that they would. Yeah, I mean, they would never do it.
I'm trying to think of like anyone.
Like the only one I could think that would be a funny joke would be Ridley. Because Ridley dies all the fucking time. Like, that's kind of the joke about Ridley's final smash in the most recent Smash Bros. Is she finally isn't the one who dies. She actually kills Samus in it. Or he, or whatever.
Yeah, it's a he. Ridley's a dude.
So yeah. For PC, Steam, I would say Gordon Freeman.
Yeah, why the fuck not?
Gordon Freeman would be a great pick. Or Doomslayer. Gordon Freeman or Doomslayer, I would think.
I still say Doomslayer in time, so don't get the best goddamn reception. But no, Doomslayer in Mortal Kombat, just period. Just make him a fucking DLC character for everybody. I don't care.
He would be really good. So yeah, either of those two for PC. Like, and you just everybody like in the fighter introductions when Gordon Freeman walks up, they say that it's be something about the fact that he never talks. Would be just glorious. So
somebody would have to say some bullshit like, "I'll make you scream."
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, something like that. Like, shit writes itself.
Yes.
We have ways of making you talk.
There you go. But yeah, that's what I would pick. What I'm hoping for DLC, Doomslayer is obviously my first pick. But we'll have to see who gets revealed for the roster. I have a feeling that they're probably only going to keep like maybe one or two of the new characters from the last game in it. I would and my money would be Cassie Cage has all but been confirmed, and I would probably think Kun Jin would be in there too. Wait, no, which one was Jin? The new ones weren't really that memorable. It's not Kun Jin. It's Kenshi's son. I can't remember his name for the life of me.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but no, I don't remember his fucking name either.
I'll look it up. But I would think that they would probably be the two that would be carried over. Just Takeda, because Takeda was really popular online. He was arguably the best character.
Surprised they wouldn't bring back Devora though.
They'll probably bring back Devora, or I would think it, or maybe at least as DLC. Kotal Khan, I don't expect, because nobody really liked him that much. He did huge fucking damage. He was the Zangief for the game, but yeah, it's a. I would think that they're probably going to bring back most of the ninjas. I don't think they're going to bring back Reptile. I think they're going to take a break with Reptile for a game. Because they brought back Baraka. And they've got, what's his face? Who voices Sub-Zero as well. And voices like fucking everything. Steve Bloom. Steve Bloom is voicing Baraka now. And he's using the same voice he used for Reptile. So I have this weird feeling that Reptile's not going to be in there. Not that I like Reptile very much. I want them to bring back like Rain and Ermac and Noob Saibot. Those are my three.
Oh, for God's sake, yes, absolutely.
Noob Saibot in Mortal Kombat 9 was really fucking cool. Because he was a zoning character. And you didn't see a lot of that in Mortal Kombat games. And he was
really fucking hard to play against if somebody knew how to fucking play him.
Yeah, he was really good. So... Not to mention, like, there was a story bit in 10 where they mentioned how he freed himself willingly from Quan Chi's control. That made me so much more interested in the character again. Not to mention he's tied into Sub-Zero. And from what I'm seeing of, like, the opening, like, stuff, it looks like they're finally going to allow Scorpion and Sub-Zero to be the Ryu and Ken of this series. Which certainly they should. They're the most popular characters.
Well, I mean, they kind of buried the hatchet in Mortal Kombat X, so...
Yeah. So, alright. Let's go ahead and move on to the next question. Brian Gilmartin says, if we could remake any game, what would it be and why? How about we do this? Let's pick two each.
How many times have we had this fucking question?
I don't know, but I want to put a spin on it. So, pick a game that didn't live up to its full potential that you think could be realized in modern technology. And then pick a classic game that should be updated to modern day like Resident Evil 2 is going to be. Which I'm going to be playing the fuck out of tomorrow.
For the first one, Metal Gear 1. Obvious fucking choice.
For the classic that needs to be updated?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I figured.
And the second, I would say... maybe Legend of Dragoon, actually.
That's a good pick. That's a really good pick, actually.
I would love to see an HD version of Dart. Yeah. I mean, and he was supposed to be in fucking PlayStation All Stars too, but of course, you know, when that game kind of shat the bed, all the DLC. Well, not all the DLC, but the last DLC that they were working on kind of went out the window too.
Yeah.
Because at least we got Isaac Clarke in there. That was fun as hell.
Oh yes. So for me, for a classic game that I would update, I would definitely say, I would agree with Metal Gear 1 for sure. I would love to bring back David Hayter as Snake and still have Kiefer Sutherland voice Big Boss.
Mm-hmm. Especially since the end of Metal Gear Solid 5, you kind of have to update Metal Gear 1 at this point.
Yeah, and I would have Carrie Payton voice Gray Fox again, for sure. And then of course you got to bring back Colonel Campbell's voice actor too.
Use his original fucking Metal Gear Solid voice too, not the Twin Snakes voice. I didn't like that.
I like Carrie Payton's the one who did it in Twin Snakes. I like his a lot more. I like the gravelly kind of feel of the voice.
Then and how fucking did it in the original?
It wasn't Carrie Payton.
Was it Greg Eagles that did it?
I think it was Greg Eagles.
Might have been.
Because Eagles did 2 different roles in that one.
Yes, that's right. He did the DARPA chief, and he did Gray Fox.
Yeah, and then in the second one they just did Carrie Payton, and I thought Carrie did a much better job. The raspy, deranged feel of his voice, I thought was felt a lot better. It fitted the character a little bit better. But yeah, that would be my pick, for sure, because just the way that you could play the betrayal at the end of it would be just awesome. Let's see here. Oh, the second one, a game that didn't live up to its potential. For that one, people are probably going to scream cop out. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. Code Veronica could have been a lot more than it was.
Really?
Yes. Code Veronica's got a really interesting setup. It's as a storyline, it's a really good bridge between the survival horror and action-y Resident Evils of like 4, 5, and 6. And I think that if you had modern technology and a retuning of it, it would come across much better than it did. Because the controls are very loose in it. The level design could use some work. There's some points where there's constant zombie respawn for no fucking reason, just to make the game artificially harder. It's largely just an interesting concept and an interesting story with a couple of very badly written parts and very bad controls. So it has a very interesting concept in the prison island. It's a really cool idea of having Claire and Chris as your playable characters. So, and I'll take any excuse to play as Chris Redfield. So, I think that it would be interesting to see Chris in a bridge between, police officer and one-man fucking tank. Have him at a point where he's in the process of bulking up. He has some of those crazy fucking melee moves, but they don't have as much impact. That little bridge, I would like to have that feeling of kind of where they were at. But you don't really get it with that game because it's a lot of interesting ideas, not very good execution. So that would be my pick for a game that you could finally reach its potential with modern technology and better writing.
I'm surprised you wouldn't have said Nemesis.
Well, I said Nemesis on the podcast, so that's an obvious one. But Code Veronica is the other one in the series that really could use a tune up. So
the true Resident Evil 3, as I like to call it.
Hardboiled Entertainment wants to know, we're commissioned by one of the big companies to make a game with full creative control. What would we make?
An original title or a...
Yeah, a completely original title. I've always wanted to make a strategic shooter a la SWAT 4. But again, with a much more modern take, and not a multiplayer thing like Rainbow Six Siege is.
Mm.
It would be a single, or it would be a co-op experience, squad of 4 guys, and you can plan everything together and stuff like that. But I wouldn't really want like and have an interesting single player campaign. But I wouldn't really want it to be like Rainbow Six Siege where it's just multiplayer only. So that's my thoughts.
I would realize like the full potential of Mass Effect and make a like seriously your choices fucking matter series of games. As in, like, it would have basically multiple plots across, I suppose, a trilogy. And it would be to the point where you really wouldn't be able to play, like, the second and third entries without the previous ones. You would have to start from the start in order to really, really get into it. It'd be really hard to do, but if I had like a big company behind me and an unlimited fucking budget, you bet your ass I'd do something like that.
There we go. Tom and the Fish wants to know thoughts on Bloodstained, the crowdfunded Metroidvania game. I want to play it.
I haven't played it.
I have no dollars, so I can't play it yet.
I mean, I'm kind of... I know it's not as bad of a thing as Mighty Number 9 turned out to be, but Mighty Number 9 kind of burned me real bad with the whole, well, we're tired of waiting on whoever to make a new game, so we'll just do it ourselves. So, yeah, I didn't hop on the Bloodstained bandwagon because of that.
Yeah. Incel Mafioso. This fucking buzzword again. Okay. Sorry, not your fault, Incel Mafioso. I have a rant coming on this. Do we think console exclusives are anti-consumer? I fucking hate that term. Anti-consumer. It's a product to buy. Value is subjective. May Total Biscuit rest in peace, but this is the one conversation when it comes to video games that he and Jim Fat Cucking Serling or God, I can't even get it right, have brought to the discussion when it comes to video games is this fucking buzzword of anti-consumer. If you don't like it, you don't fucking buy it. If you do like it, you do buy it. There's not pro or anti to it. It's a product. It exists in the market. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't sell. Jesus fucking Christ, I hate that term. It shouldn't surprise anyone that it was coined by 2 socialists.
I'm taking that as a no.
It's a fuck no. They are games that are meant to sell consoles, to make consoles appealing. Mm-hmm. There's nothing anti-consumer about them. If you want this thing, you must buy the hardware. It's the case with a lot of things in existence when you actually think about it. It's like when people were getting up in arms about seasonal games while they were buying said games. Oh, there is no single industry that sells things like this. Meanwhile, I was a lawn care salesman. Yes, we do. We absolutely sell things like that come to you in increments.
And even, like, exclusives, like software exclusives, there's shit that I can't get on my Mac, and there's shit that you can't get on your PC that I can get on my Mac.
Or on your smartphone.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
things along those lines.
Things.
There are apps that only work on iDevices that I can't get. I can't get it on my Android.
Others work on Android. Yeah. So I mean, it's not that big of a fucking deal.
No, it's not. It's basically now if you're gonna argue that it adds another layer to consider when buying something, then yeah, it does do that, along with a lot of other industries. So no, it's not anti-consumer at all. It is made to sell something. And if you think it's worth buying, then you buy it. If you don't think it's worth buying the console for, then you don't. Problem solved. It's nothing like this idea that there's some sort of personal fucking slight here is just non-existent.
I mean, if anything, that's what's keeping the big 3 alive. Like, aside from Nintendo, which is doing something very radically fucking different with theirs, like the Xbox and the PS4 are not really that far off as far as experiences go. It's basically a matter of what exclusives do you want and what controller do you want to hold in your fucking hands.
Pretty much.
That's really it. And if you're like me and a total fucking madman, you just get both anyway. And then a Switch on top of that, and then you can play whatever the fuck you want.
Pretty much.
But again, I'm a madman.
Well, it's funny is like some people that I see that say this sort of stuff have sunk, like me, have sunk thousands of dollars into PCs.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to own every console, I could. Had I decided differently, but I prefer to have a big gaming rig. Because that's how I like to play video games.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So here's the question. Are the exorbitant hardware prices for a gaming PC anti-consumer? No, they're not. Because it's a multi-functioning device. There's a reason it costs as much as it does. It's also a very complex machine. And it has more processing power. The Xbox One X is the only thing that comes close to touching my PC. Think about that for a second. It takes an Xbox One X to come close again. Even then, I have more RAM. I have more processing power. You know, the video card is almost even. Almost. Crazy when you think about it. But no, it's not anti-consumer at all. Options are not anti-consumer. What no. And like I said, if you don't like it, don't buy it. But this idea that there's this company going, yeah, we're really gonna make those consumers mad now. That doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's not meant to dick over anybody.
People who say this sort of stuff, you can tell never held a decent job in their life.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty stuck in the lower middle class as for right now. And I've worked several different kinds of jobs. This sort of attitude does not fucking exist. It's not there. Do people make bad business decisions? Absolutely. Are they malicious in nature? Not really.
Not always.
They do want your money. They're just not doing it, or they're not being smart about getting it.
Yeah.
EA, we're looking at you.
Yeah. Anti-consumer, the closest thing that can come to it is when you cut corners to make your fucking money. And you screw over whoever buys your fucking product and act all shady about it.
But we already had a term for that before. It's poor ethics.
Yeah. That's all it is. And certainly console exclusives do not fall into that category.
No, it's very, like, the only time I can think there were a bunch of console exclusives that really kind of shit the bed was PlayStation 3 at launch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, those games clearly were half-baked.
Jesus Christ, we don't talk about Layer.
I was thinking of a different game where you can attack its weak point for massive damage.
Oh my fucking god, yeah.
I don't even remember the name of the game. All I remember is giant enemy crab.
I remember Layer, because that game looked so fucking cool. And it's like, yeah, you can ride your dragon using the 6-axis. Like, holy shit, that's awesome. And then it came out.
It was not awesome.
It was balls.
It was so bad.
It was balls.
Layer was awful. Okay. Talon Silverbrain asks our final question. What would our ideal Star Wars game be? Knights of the Old Republic 3.
1313.
That's pretty much it. And I would take 1313 as well. Because that sounded like an awesome Boba Fett game.
That was like right up my fucking alley.
Yeah.
Fuck you, EA.
Fuck them?
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Alright, folks, that was our last question for this week. We really appreciate you stopping by. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this video. And just one thing to let you guys know, just about some project updates. Still trying to talk to Bob Stone, the artist for Project Lazarus. I'm going to be putting the book on indefinite hiatus when it comes to the Indiegogo. However, Inglewood is going to be progressing nicely. Brian is, if you missed the stream that we did together, you can check it out on Brian Martinez's channel. He's very dedicated in putting Inglewood together and getting that out. I'm really excited about that book as well as Project Lazarus. Like, it's gonna be fucking epic. As Hatman can attest, you know, it's a very action-packed yet has parts that will move you as well.
It's strong. It's very, very strong.
If you like, well, what street level writer would you say if they like that writer, they would like what I'm doing?
Tough fucking choice, to be honest with you.
Throw out a few names.
It reminds me the most of Daredevil, so...
Now, are we talking Miller Daredevil, Bendis Daredevil?
Not... Maybe a mix of both, really? I was going to say, like, not quite Bendis, but not quite Miller. It's a good amount of both, I would say.
Yeah, those are easily my two biggest inspirations when it comes to street level writing. Is Bendis' Daredevil, the emotional feel of the Bendis Daredevil, but the kind of punch you in the nuts feeling of Frank Miller Daredevil.
Yeah, the kind of fuck you, told via action, like Frank Miller.
Yeah. And when it comes to like the moral center of the character, I was pulling quite a bit from Mark Waid and Ed Brubaker's respective runs on Captain America. Wade's first run, mind you, in the 90s, not the most recent. The most recent one was a trash.
Back when Mark Waid was good.
Yeah. Mark Waid's a prick, don't forget that. And other thing is that I've put some t-shirt designs to one of our artists for the Patriot Wear store, which will hopefully be coming out sometime in February, probably late February, early March. I want to try to get at least like 10 or 15 designs done. We're also considering doing something like a Crusader Club for as sort of a substitute for Patreon, where if you subscribe to this club for, let's say, like $5 a month or what have you, you'd get access to the Discord server, and we'd probably send you some sort of drink thing of your choice, or maybe just a shot glass with a Crusader on it. So, actually, that's a really good idea.
We'll send you something.
That's a really good idea now that I think about it, because the Micah Curtis drinking game is apparently now a thing. So we might make that official. We might do it that way, where there will be
better or worse, the Micah Curtis drinking game is a thing.
Yeah. So we might. That's what we might do is we might do a shot glass with a Crusader on the front of it, and a laminated card of the Micah Curtis drinking game, and basically gives you the alcohol that you have to use, and because it's going to be Seagram 7, and what you take a shot on. Yeah.
Good luck, everybody.
I hope you enjoyed your liver, because it's going to be waving goodbye to you in the morning, along with sobriety. So, but that's just a quick update on those. There are other projects I'm considering doing. A couple of different graphic novels I want to do. One of which is called, I've mentioned it before, 3 Nights, 4 Days, which is sort of my love letter to both the 13th Warrior and Kentaro Miura. Because Project Lazarus is kind of a little bit of a love letter to Chris Claremont and Go Nagai, in a lot of senses. There's another one I'm thinking about doing called The First Servant, which is about the first person Dracula ever turns. I'm still doing research on Transylvania at the time and the politics and things like that, so I can make sure I get the story right. So yeah, that's sort of the update on that. Hopefully we'll get some of this stuff published soon. Anything I forgot, Hatman?
I don't think so. I think that's about it.
All right, folks. Well, we appreciate you watching. Until next time, my name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as the Hatman.
We'll see you guys soon. Deus Volt.
Deus Volt.